Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
Kelly.
We're going to talk a little bit about some New Jersey news. Kelly's going to give us some info.
So we're going to recap Atlanta. Obviously there's been so much in the news about Teresa and Louis with these liens or whatever they are. And it's all alleged. Anything we repeat here is alleged. But Wendy and I were talking about it, and we don't even really understand all of it because there's a $2.5 million tax lien against Louis that we're assuming has to do with the house. Like maybe he owes somebody money and they put a lien on the house. From what I understood, I thought that the house was in an LLC, and I just assumed that maybe Louis was the CEO of that LLC, because I thought I remembered Teresa never having her name on the house and that being an issue with people, not, people having an opinion. Like, I can't believe you didn't put your name on the house. But now she has a $300,000 tax lien against her. So it's just very confusing.
It is very confusing. There's a lot of shenanigans going on. There really is.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wait for Bravo docket to hopefully read the court filings and break it down for us so that we can figure it out, because what we've seen so far doesn't make any sense, which, we're not lawyers and everything is alleged. So we need some lawyers, or possibly Emily and Shane, or I think there's another Bravo lawyer group that breaks stuff down too. So we're just mentioning it. We talk about all of Housewives, and because we live in Jersey, Jersey's, the one near and dear to us. And I don't know. We're not surprised. If
you listen to our show, I don't like Teresa. I'm not a fan at all. However, I will say, I really hope that none of this is true. Listen, whatever Louis is doing. I don't give a rat's ass about him. But I do feel bad that Teresa is if this, of course, is all alleged. If any of this is true, I do feel bad that she's back in a position like this. And I hope it's not true. And I hope she's not in trouble for any of this. I really do. No. I don't like her, but I don't wish this on anyone, because she clearly has the wrong people influencing her. And you know what I was thinking when I was reading about some of this today? Where is James Leonard? Where is that fucking slime ball that has made a shit ton of money off of her? Like, is he helping her out with this?
Sure hope so. Well,
I know. It's like a catch-22. Do we hope he's helping her? Because if he's helping her, he's probably not helping her.
Right. But yeah, somebody's got to be helping her, because this certainly isn't something she can tackle on her own.
No, but I hope it's not true, and I really hope she's not in trouble for anything, because I don't want to see her have to go back to jail. And I would imagine if you have already served time for anything to do with, tax or mortgage or loans, and then you get caught again, it's not going to be an easy sentencing.
No, I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see. But it does explain some of the crazy live posts we're seeing of Louis going online and doing these live posts where he's going to train you on how you can be your own boss and sell your own stuff all online. He's doing TikTok live or Instagram live and going to train you how to do that.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Since we've known him, since he came on the scene, the guy hasn't had one successful company. No, not one thing he did was successful.
We haven't seen it. We have not seen it.
We have not seen it. I don't know what he did prior to coming on the scene of Real Housewives of New Jersey, but I don't know.
We're just going to have to
I don't know how people couldn't see through this guy. I don't know how Bravo put him on TV, because he's Bravo's dream.
Yeah. All right. So we'll have to wait. And when we find out more information, we'll let you know. Right now, we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode number 2. Hot dog and hot mics.
Is this episode 2 or 3? This is only 2?
You know what? Maybe it is 3.
I think it's 3, because we did one with Gina and one with Miriam.
It is 3, and I'm looking at the wrong notes. This one's called High Notes and Cheap Shots.
Okay, good. Imagine if we recapped again.
God, that would be bad.
We're both so tired, we probably would have just rolled with it.
We would have. And I'm like, we did hot dogs. Like, how are we doing that again?
That's funny.
We start out with Brit and Mike invited his family over for dinner. We see that she's got her personal assistant there, Ruben, as well as a personal chef to cook for the family.
Nice.
And very nice. And that she is used to dating ballers. And she met Mike. And I mean, basically, she was calling him a nerd, but that's what she was looking for. Like, he's husband material.
Yeah. Who'd she say she dated? Ross?
Rick Ross.
Rick Ross. And
Yeah.
isn't that who Porsha worked for on the radio station? Or?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I do.
Yeah.
But she said that's all in the past because, Mike wants kids tomorrow and she's concerned about her ceremony. And they start having this conversation like in front of his family. And his sister's like, well, what's holding it up? And
he didn't want to talk about it.
Mike does not want to talk about it. He doesn't. I don't blame him. Honestly, that is not a family conversation topic. No. So they excuse themselves and they go down in the basement so that they can talk about what's going on, Mike's sister and Brit. And we find out a little bit about Brit. Her dad passed away in 2015 and he was a mortgage guy. And he had this one doesn't really make sense to me. I'll be quite honest with you. She said he had a $2 million life insurance policy, but because he died when he was transitioning from one agency to another, her mother never collected the money. Listen, there's no transitioning. You don't collect the money if you don't pay the bill. That's how that works. That's how insurance works.
Exactly.
Right?
That was very confusing.
Yeah. And listen, this experience, they had to do a GoFundMe to help bury her dad, I guess, after this happened because there wasn't no money there. And this experience really got her to launch this business, the insurance business. And she went to her sister. She has two sisters and said, we got to go all in on this together. Launch this insurance agency together. So they all went in on it. And now she doesn't speak to her sisters.
Yeah. So did they go in as partners or did she go in as the boss and they had to work for her?
It sounds like she went in as the boss.
Yeah.
Because the one sister left because she couldn't work with her. And then she decided to sell the business or whatever she decided. What did she decide to do with it? She decided to sell the insurance company.
Yeah, she sold it. Yeah.
So then her other sister didn't have a job.
Well, and the thing is, so when you sell a business, obviously you get paid for that business. So did you take care of your sisters or?
Probably not. That's why they're not talking.
Exactly. All signs are pointing towards probably not.
Right. Which I just find is a little bit interesting considering the fact that she said like family's so important to her. And that's why she wants to have this family with Mike. She's got two perfectly good sisters. Just make it right with them.
Right.
Just make it right. Do the right thing.
And his sister kind of gave her that advice, right?
Kind of. I mean, she's in an awkward position, right?
Yeah.
His sister.
Yeah.
And then we see Porsha meets up with Kelli, and Kelli tells her about this event she's having at Balmain, the Mommy and Me event. She wants to get to know Porsha because their first encounter didn't really go off well because Kelli came at her with,
why'd you take that woman's man?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not
a really good way to start things off.
Nobody's going to react well to that. Porsha's going to react even farther out than your average bear.
So then Brit tells Porsha that Shamia told her to ask Porsha for the details. And Portia's saying, I don't know why my friend would do that. She knows everything I'm going through. Why would she do that? I think she did do that because she didn't want to get involved in it.
Right.
Right? I mean, it really wasn't her fight to have, even though she does have Portia's back. But I don't know. Because I've been seeing rumblings that, first of all, Shamia's got a new single out. She's not promoting it. And I don't think they're talking.
Really?
I don't think they're talking.
Well, nothing's going to end a friendship like your BFF getting her own peach.
You think?
Yeah, because I think Shamia came in hot. I think she did come in hot this season. She's definitely a fan fave, don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
She was like sleeping with the enemy going out with Kelli and Brit.
Yeah.
And then, bringing all the bones back to Porsha.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I have a feeling that they're not speaking.
That's a shame though, because they have been friends since middle school or high school, but I know we'll get there. But Portia's mom did not make it seem like she was a huge fan of Shamia.
No, she didn't. I did notice that.
But I think what our friend Miriam said is true. I think Porsha thinks she's the show, and I think her family does too.
Well, I think so.
And I bet you her mom did not like Shamia coming in with her own peach this season.
Yeah, it definitely could be because, like you said, like Porsha's taking care of her family, right?
Yep.
We'll see. Then we see Drew's in the studio working on her album, and Kenya, Cynthia, and Angela show up. They're talking about what's going on. Kenya asked Drew if Dennis is going to be there, if he's supposed to be there. And she's like, well, he was supposed to be in the studio today, but she doesn't know why he's not. And then she said,
maybe he learned that they were filming and he was like,
yeah, because
I'm out.
Porsche told him he's not allowed to. Drew doesn't really want to talk about it. Kenya said to Drew, you are dead wrong by starting to work with Dennis before she spoke to Porsha. I mean, she does pull up her phone and says, I texted her all these times. And then after that, they made up a date to meet and then she canceled.
I do think Drew made the effort to talk
too.
to her, to tell her.
I do too.
But I do think that Drew also got caught in a lie when she said, we don't talk on the phone.
Who doesn't talk on the phone?
Her and Dennis. And the first episode we saw Kenya was over her house. She was talking to Dennis on the phone. She does lie, Drew.
Yeah.
I still don't think there's anything going on between the two of them, but she does lie.
I don't think there is either.
Yeah.
No. And then Cynthia says that Kenya had booked her baby daddy, Leon, for a project that she had. And Cynthia gave her blessing before she did it. Which I forgot about that. Like now, after she mentioned it, I was like, oh, yeah, I do remember that.
He is so good looking, Leon.
Yeah. I wonder what he's doing.
I know. I'd love to see those two get back together.
Oh, it's not happening.
I know.
It's not happening. She's got Amsterdam now.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Kenya says you're being talked about like a whore, which I think that was a little much.
Yeah, she is not.
No, she's not. And then Angela asked, why did you ask her that question in front of the group? I think she asked that question in front of the group because isn't that what she was supposed to do? Like, she wanted it on camera.
Right.
She wanted it on camera. Yeah.
100%. That's why she didn't respond to those text messages.
Right.
That's why she canceled on her.
Right.
She was holding out until they were on camera.
Yeah.
For sure. It's so obvious.
No, Drew said Porsha reached out to her the day after Shamia's birthday party, and that's where they are. Like, they didn't talk, but she did reach out to her. So I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know. Then we see Shamia's talking to her sisters, and she's telling them what's going on with her girls, Shiloh and Shia. Shamia is very emotional when she starts talking about everything she's going through. Again, we had no idea how much this woman is going through. I mean, the both girls really are not that well.
Right.
And she's trying to have another baby. Then she had the ectopic pregnancy. Even though she has all this money, if you don't have your health and you don't have your family, you don't have anything.
Nope. You sure don't. Nope.
Then we see Angela pull up to her and Charles' investment property number 3. And she's running in and out. And 20 minutes later, Charles pulls up after she's brought everything in the house.
Moving like a slug. He's still so damn good looking, though. He can get away.
Yeah, they were on Watch What Happens Live, too. Did you see it?
No, I will look for that and watch that, though.
Yeah. So she really wants to prove herself to Charles. I guess this was her idea to do this investment property and flipping and, making money on it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he put some of his money into it.
Oh, he did because, she wants to do this vow renewal and he's holding this real estate thing. And I don't blame him. Let's finish this project before we start another project.
Yep.
I mean, in a vow renewal, what is it? I mean, she was explaining that, when they got married and then they were like separated a little bit. And I mean, what is it? Really?
Don't do it. It's like getting your spouse's name tattooed on you. It's the kiss of death. Don't do the vow renewals.
I agree.
I know you're looking to have a party so you can have something, a whole scene to yourself. Do something else.
Yeah, do something else.
Yeah. Look at the history of housewives' vow renewals.
Yes.
Bronwyn from OC.
Vicky. There's been so many of them.
Don't do it, Angela.
Don't do it.
We're rooting for you and Charles.
Then Angela's telling Charles that she's talking to Wendy, and we find out that that's her therapist because Charles says, well, we pay her $3,000 a month.
I was trying to figure out who the hell Wendy was.
Yeah, it's her therapist.
I'm like, Wendy? I'm like going through all the newbies. Then I'm like touching on Potomac. I'm like, no, that's Potomac.
Yeah. And she said, listen, in her confessional, if I was paying her $3,000, that's like mental institution amount of money. She says, probably like $1,200. She's worth it.
I know. I was thinking, I'm like, no, that makes sense. It's probably $300 a week. So she's probably $300 an hour, and she probably goes once a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we see Drew goes to see her lawyer, Tanya, and they're talking about the last court date. I thought this was very interesting. So Ralph shows up and he didn't have his attorney there. So he decides that he's going to represent himself and starts cross-examining Drew.
He's pro se. Don't you have to
file to do that?
Like enter an appearance as a pro se plaintiff or, whatever?
He must have, but he must have did it the day of court because I would have thought the lawyer would have known and prepared her.
Right.
I mean, can you do it the same day?
You could probably do it the same day, but you'd have to give the other side notice. Maybe she had notice and just didn't realize he was going to start questioning her.
Yeah. But, Tanya said it was confirmation of everything that they'd been saying to the judge about him being controlling, and they're talking about his financial information. He's not turning it over. So they can't come up with a settlement because he's not giving the financial information, and he's giving some of her financial information because he has access to all her stuff.
Right. He wants spousal report.
Yeah.
These men.
I know.
Get a job, Ralph.
It's crazy. So also then the attorney says that the judge took a look at everything that was going on. And right now the divorce proceedings are sealed, but the judge is going to unseal it. And Drew's like, well, what does that look like? She's like, well, it's going to show exactly what he is. He's a serial cheater. He's taken money out of your account. He's been sexting other women. He's been following you. I mean, this is not going to be a good look for him.
Nope.
Not going to be a good look. And Drew gets upset about this because, although she wants a divorce, this is her kid's father.
Yeah, it's still the father of your children.
And she doesn't want them to go through this.
Her kids are going to know all of this.
Absolutely.
Once it gets out.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know they're little, but eventually they're going to know.
You know what's so sad to me about this whole situation? When she first came on, she was in another relationship and she has an older child whose father is from this other relationship and wasn't present in this kid's life. And Ralph, remember, was writing the book.
Yeah.
And was going to adopt this kid and did write the book, right? Did the book get published?
So. I don't know.
Like, that's just
It is sad.
It really is. It's sad for the kids. This is who it's sad for. It's sad for the kids.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I know. Then we see Shamia is taking Shia she just keeps saying taking her to have surgery. And Shia's like all excited to go with her little white doctor's coat on.
It looks so cute.
She was so adorable. She was getting her tonsils out, which, I mean, it's surgery, but still, I thought that was strange that she drove her daughter there and then her husband was there too, but they didn't all go together. So maybe he was working and met them. I don't know. It was just a little odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we see Porsha and her mom, Miss Diane, and her mom is, Portia's thanking her mom for being there for her through this divorce. And this is not like her last divorce with Cordell. It's a very different divorce.
A lot more money. Well, that's not true. Cordell, I'm sure, a lot of money.
Yeah. Diane said that she thought that Simon was her protector. And well, that's what Porsha thought too. And Porsha reached out to Simon's family because I guess in his culture, they don't like to go through the courts. They like to solve things and they do not want to get involved. They want it to play out through the courts. I don't know that they could solve anything because I don't know how much of it's real. If the money was ever even there, or he's just a con artist. He's just another con artist that we're going to see a Lifetime movie about.
Yep.
Simon the con artist, right?
Yeah, like where's Fallon? We need to hear from Fallon because wasn't she married to him?
Yeah. Okay. Or was she engaged?
Oh, you're right. I think she was
engaged. I think she was engaged.
But like, come on, Fallon. Like, where's the money? Is there money? Like, you have to know something.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to start talking.
I know. I would like to see some of this information play out. Right?
Yeah.
And then Diane's questioning Shamia, telling her what others are saying about her, if she's trying to cheer you up, and listen, if she's your good friend, she's going to tell you what other people are saying about you.
I don't think Shamia did anything wrong. Listen, she's obviously doing her job as a housewife. Somebody said something about another housewife. You go deliver the message. That's part of your job. But also Porsha's her friend,
right?
And friend from when they were younger. But you know how I am. If somebody did my kid wrong in 7th grade,
yes,
I will never forget. I will never forget. So I imagine Miss Diane is the same way.
Yeah, that could be.
And Porsha and Shamia have been friends for a long time. So chances are Shamia has done something over the years.
That could be. This is a very valid point you're bringing up. This is a very valid point.
That's exactly what I was thinking while I was watching that scene. I'm like, oh, Shamia did something to Porsha probably 30 years ago. And Miss Diane is like, I have not forgotten Shamia.
That's right. You're right. I think that you just nailed it with that one.
Yeah.
Then we see Kelly's daughter, Chance. She's getting her makeup done for the Balmain event. And Balmain is partnering with Kelly for the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation. We find out a lot about this, too.
Yeah.
First of all, we find out that Balmain is one of her favorite fashion houses. And I'm going to skip to that.
That bag that Porsha picked up was nice.
That was nice. So 10% of the proceeds are going to go to this Osteogenesis Imperfecta. And 3 of Kelly's daughters are diagnosed with this. So that means
that's crazy.
All the ones with the same father. It's a genetic disease. Most of you know it as brittle bone disease. And Chance was 6 weeks old and she noticed something was wrong with her arm and she took her to the hospital and she remembers the 2 police officers stood there in front of the door and CPS came and they were stuck in Baltimore for over a month because they thought she was abusing her child.
So that is so wild. But let me tell you something. I was thinking about this when I was watching this. Tess used to get nursemaid's elbow. And the first time it happened, she was 9 months old and we were just playing on the floor and her elbow dislocated. She started crawling and she kept falling to the side. So, Eric and I were first-time parents freaking out. We brought her to the pediatrician. He told us to go to the emergency room. So we did. Popped it back in, no problem. And my pediatrician told me she will grow out of this by the time she's 5. Something happens to your bones. Right before she turned 5, she was probably 4. She was at the preschool that all of our kids went to. And it happened again 2 times a month apart. Now, both of those times, I brought her to the emergency care, immediate care in Point Pleasant near the old OB diner.
Mm-hmm.
First time, no problem. They pop it back in. Second time I brought her there because it was so close. They questioned her and they questioned her without me. They told me to leave because the signs were there that God forbid I was actually, abusing her. I was thinking when she said it, I was like, that happened to me. I mean, I can't believe she was held up for a month somewhere.
I know.
But given the seriousness of this illness, this was just, her elbow dislocated. Given the seriousness of her children's illness, that's wild, though.
What else is wild to me is that the doctor took the flashlight and looked at her eye and because he could see the blue tint. If it's that easy to diagnose, why did it take a month to do that?
Exactly. Exactly.
That kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
So, we learned a lot about her, too, and her daughters. So I thought it was cute that the moms and the daughters with their matching dresses. Kenya and her daughter were there, cute. Right? Porsha shows up with her daughter. Porsha gets there and says that she's sharing a makeup. She uses the same makeup artist as Drew, and Drew got wind that she was using her, so she kept her there longer so she'd show up at Porsha's late. So that Porsha would arrive late. I mean, I don't know. You think she's just making that up just to?
I mean, that sounds crazy. That's like some Teresa and Melissa shit there.
That's crazy. It is crazy though. I don't know.
I guess it could be true.
Yeah. She's telling us she's got a 15-minute face because she didn't want to be late. She
looked fine.
Yeah, I thought she looked fine too. But then Drew was late.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Which is very interesting.
Right.
She was the one holding up the makeup artist.
Right. Like, wouldn't that be because she wanted to get there first?
Yeah.
I mean, Drew did come in with quite an entourage, though.
Yeah, she did. She
I mean,
did.
she didn't just have her daughter. She had her son, her daughter, her sister.
Her sister. Yep, she did. She sure did. Angela goes over to Shamia and says, we got off on the wrong foot. And she said, we should both talk. And they both agree. They meant what they said. So there's nothing to talk about. I was like, oh, well,
I feel like Shamia did not respond well. I feel like Shamia had, I don't know. I don't remember what specifically Angela said, but Shamia wasn't having it and put that wall right back up. And I don't like the fact that she said something about her nose.
I didn't get that whole thing. Well,
she was saying she looked like LaToya Jackson, because
she did say
had
that
her nose cut too small.
She did, but Angela said something to her about
Flavor Flav.
Yes, yes. So she started the shade.
No, I thought Shamia said it first about her nose. I really did.
Maybe she did. You could be right. I could be wrong.
And when you hear what Angela said about Flavor Flav, she said Dougie Fresh.
Retro, because she had said you have a retro nose. She called her nose retro.
Shamia?
Yeah. She called her nose retro. She did
the whole thing, the pinch in her confessional.
Yeah.
It's not. When you have two sick girls.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that, Shamia. And I like you, but.
No.
Don't go on somebody's looks.
No, I know. I don't like when they go low like that because there's really no reason. There's no reason.
There's no reason.
So they're not going to have their conversation. And honestly, I don't know that this event was the place to have it. Then Shamia apologized to Drew for embarrassing her the other day. That was not her intention at her birthday party when she brought up the whole Dennis thing.
It is interesting that she went right over to Drew and apologized.
Yeah.
When Porsha and Drew still have a whole conversation to have, and you just had it out with Angela. Like, why are you going over to Drew and apologizing to her?
And it seemed sincere, too. It seemed like a sincere apology, which, again, I thought was a little odd myself. Then Drew goes over to Porsha and says that they need to talk. And Porsha said that she's not feeling well, that they can talk another day. And she saw that her sister was there, and she's like, I'm not doing this. And she shouldn't. That's really not the place to do it. She said they spent about $30,000 at the event. So does that mean that they get the $3,000, I guess?
I guess so, yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Very nice, a nice event. And, it's for a good cause.
I wonder what the long-term effects of that illness is.
I wonder that, too. I didn't look it up, or if there's any kind of cure for it. I guess probably not. I mean, if your bones are brittle, your bones are brittle.
I know. I wonder if you have to take, supplements like vitamin D, calcium.
Yeah.
At a younger age than, us taking it now.
Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'd heard of it before, but I don't think we've never seen anybody.
No.
So I think this is going to be a really good season.
I do too.
Looking forward to Phaedra coming. I heard that when she comes, Andy brought this up, that it's going to be a totally different scene once Phaedra comes in, which I don't know why. Maybe because Kenya blew it up so much that.
So it's going to happen soon because we already saw coming attractions of Kenya's hair care party, and that's when it happens, right?
I think that's when it happens.
But something has to happen first for her to get so pissed off at Brit.
Something has to happen, yeah.
Something has to happen because what's happened so far between the two of them doesn't substantiate her post. I mean, nothing substantiates that, but posting pictures of her giving oral sex. And again, the producers were well aware that this was happening. So for Kenya to be kicked off the show and taken the fall for the whole thing when producers were there and were well aware, that's a bunch of bullshit.
No, I agree. I mean, Gina said
File that in the Bravo reckoning.
Gina said it was photoshopped. Was it photoshopped? I mean, I don't know. Or was it just, I didn't know it was photoshopped.
I mean,
that means it wasn't even her.
Is one of her old partners
I don't know.
Sending Kenya a picture of that, like an intimate moment between the two of them?
I don't know.
That's effed up if that's what happened. Because otherwise it has to be Photoshopped. If that's an actual picture, Kenya got it from somebody from Brit's past, and that's messed up.
Well, either way, I think it's messed up because if it's Photoshopped and Kenya Photoshopped it, then that's really messed up.
Yeah.
Why would you...
I wonder if it's a real picture, though, if that person could be convicted of porn distribution.
I
I know. And I feel like Bravo could be named in some kind of lawsuit if we see it. I guess we're not going to see it, right?
No, I'm sure we're not going to see it. I don't know. Did you see that there's a new show coming on Hulu? And it's all reality stars. I think there's 20 different reality stars in a house. One of them is actually, I heard Cynthia Bailey. I saw Spencer Pratt is there. And the prize at the end, they do all these things throughout the competition to put more money in the bank. But the prize at the end is $1 million to one of them.
What is it, like an elimination show?
Something like that, yes. But they're all together in one house. I'm going to watch it.
I guess we're going to have to watch that. I'm looking forward to Love Hotel. Is that what it's called?
Yes, I'm looking forward to Love Hotel.
I'm looking forward to Love Hotel.
I'm really looking forward to The Valley, too. I really can't wait for The Valley.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to The Valley. But I got to say, so Southern Charm, the season finale was the other night.
Yes, I watched it.
Monumental, right?
No.
People were like a little upset how boring it was. I don't mind it. I just like watching them. And Southern Charm did not start out as a drama-filled Bravo show. It was just, we're watching these people live their lives in the South, and I enjoyed that. I don't want the messiness, but what I just want to say is that I love Sally, and I'm so glad she's on the show, and I really hope they keep her on there. She's great.
Sally is the model?
No, that's
Sally
Molly.
Is the medical. Molly's the model. Sally's the medical representative.
Sally's the one who was dating Gaston.
Right.
Now
she's very
Taylor's
pretty.
With. She's so pretty.
She's very pretty. But also, wasn't she on Southern Hospitality a little bit too?
She was on one episode because she supposedly had a fling with Joe Bradley and then TJ, of course. So TJ is Gaston's roommate in real life. Taylor's boyfriend. That's why TJ and Taylor are so close. So Joe Bradley supposedly had a fling with Sally, and then TJ goes and tells him she was just making out with Gaston earlier. So obviously, she wasn't really into Joe Bradley. She was just trying, not trying to be on the show. They were probably trying to get her on the show, and this was her in with Joe Bradley. And of course, TJ has to be messy because he's a little mess. And but I do think she was dating Gaston. And then he, whatever happened between them happened, and then he started dating Taylor. People are saying Taylor should go on Southern Hospitality. And
yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I kind of hope she... personally, I don't want to see her on any show. I don't like Taylor at all. I don't want to see her on any show, but I definitely don't want to see her on Southern Charm anymore.
I don't like her.
She doesn't fit there.
She doesn't bring anything.
Nothing.
She really doesn't bring anything.
What she did in the finale with Austin, like she's coming for your relationship too. Give me a break.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah, so odd. She keeps saying there's nothing romantic, but Sally keeps saying that she's enjoying getting to know Craig. So I am 100% here for a Craig and Sally relationship.
Okay.
Even though Andy told Craig to stop dating in the Bravo sphere.
Well, I mean, these guys don't listen.
No, they don't listen. But I'm so here for that because she's like Madison. She's like a Madison.
Yeah. Listen, I would be okay with that too, to be quite honest with you. And the more I see Summer House and Paige and Craig together, he was not blindsided. He was not blindsided. Well, and I will tell you this, on the after show, you haven't watched the after show yet, have you?
No.
So on the Summer House after show, we saw that clip where he said, she told me to buy her a ring, and I did. They said, well, when was it? It was before the summer started. So before Summer House started, and then they went, and then she said, hold off on it. She said, hold off. So she told him to hold off. It's not like she told him to go buy a ring, and then she broke up with him.
But she did. She told him to hold off, but
they spent Thanksgiving together, and then they broke up.
He was designing a ring, and she knew. Tell him not to design the ring. Not to design the ring and then hold off giving it to you.
No.
Crazy.
When she said to hold off, she meant hold off on the ring, not hold off on giving it. She meant hold off. Like, I think her intention was, this is what I'm gathering. Plus, I listened to Giggly Squad, so I get her perspective as well. So this is what I think happened on her side. Okay, they did Summer House. They started filming that in July, right? And you see that she's got this crazy schedule. They're starting the Giggly Squad tour. She's going to Italy with her family. And then Craig meets her in Italy for a little bit while they're, before she starts her tour. She goes on the tour and she is a nervous wreck. She has anxiety and she's freaking out. And
why?
Well, going on stage and talking in front of people isn't something she's really comfortable doing.
Okay, I just didn't know if she was having anxiety about her relationship or having anxiety about her tour.
She was having anxiety about her tour.
Okay.
And it's when she really would have needed him there to support her, or to support her, not physically there, but to support her. And instead of supporting her, he's telling her to go watch this movie about ABBA where going on tour breaks up families. Like, he doesn't, this is her dream. Like, doing this tour and doing what she's doing right now in her career is like her childhood dream. And she's getting through it. And she's happy, now that she's doing it. But the whole time she's doing it, like if something good happens, she doesn't even want to tell him because she's getting anxiety from him because she's not there for him. So she's worried that she's not there for him because they went to seeing each other every week to now she's not seeing him for several weeks. And, she's flying to a different city, every couple days. And her life is totally different. I gotta be honest
with you, though. I get it. I think she just fell out of love with him. And I think she's making all these excuses. I also do think she has a fear of commitment. Listen, they're both going to be fine.
Right. They are both going to be fine.
I feel like she's saying too much. Stop saying everything. Stop talking about it. I don't even think anybody cares anymore. But I get it. I just think that it's a lot. On Two Teas in a Pod, Tamra and Teddy talking together and talking to other people, because Teddy and Tamra said it together. Tamra said it with Trishelle, and Teddy just said it with Erica Jane. Basically, they're like, she met a rich guy that she was attracted to, like a really, really rich guy that she was attracted to.
He's really rich.
Mm-hmm.
He's really rich.
They're like, so, nothing will get you out of your relationship like that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think there was any overlap. She probably met this guy and was attracted to him and was interested and was like, I shouldn't be feeling this way if I'm supposed to marry somebody.
Right.
So I just think she's saying too much. She's got to just let it go, man.
Well, listen, what will let it go the quickest is if Craig gets into a relationship, and then we won't have to talk about it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because I think she is in a relationship. Right?
I mean,
she hasn't said it, but I think that she is.
It seems like it. It seems like it.
I think that does come up at the reunion, and Craig won't talk about it.
Yeah. And I'm sure out of respect for him, she's not talking about it too, which is nice.
No. She hasn't. I mean, I haven't heard her say anything about it, to be honest with you. And as far as her giving her side of it, she only did it once. She did the one podcast episode where she said that they broke up. And then she didn't talk about it at all for a while until he was on Watch What Happens Live. And then she didn't even do it right away. She waited a while.
Yeah.
To kind of tell her side.
I wonder where they're at. Like, I wonder if they can't even talk to each other now. I mean, it was a long-term relationship. There's definitely going to be like a period where you just don't want to talk to that person, know? But I'm sure they'll get to a point when they're both happy with other people. They'll get to the point where they can be around each other. And
listen, if Lindsay and Carl can spend the summer together in a house with Lindsay being pregnant, I mean, pretty much anybody can, see their ex in passing and be okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I have to say, with the whole Craig and Kyle thing, I was totally Team Craig on this. I don't know how you feel, but that first night when Kyle wanted to talk to Craig, and I get it. Craig was like, dude, it's been a long day. Like, it's your wife's birthday. Like, let's take a beat and talk tomorrow. And in true form, Kyle goes outside and throws a temper tantrum. If Amanda has children with this guy, it's not going to be good. He literally throws a temper tantrum like a 5-year-old when he doesn't get his way. Could you imagine him having children?
You know what it is? This is what I see in Kyle. He reminds me of somebody that I know. He gets so fixated on something that he can't stop until it's fixed, whatever it is. Like his business. Like, he just gets hyper focused and he just goes full steam ahead. And he wanted to get this resolved. He thought that this is the way to do it. He wasn't even hearing the words that Craig was saying.
No, he doesn't hear anything anybody says.
No.
Yeah, I would like to see Kyle and Amanda, Carl and Lindsay, and I love Carl. I'd like to see them exit Summer House. Come on, dude. How old are they? They're in their 40s.
I know. I really
Nobody
think
wants to watch them party anymore.
Like, I mean, seriously, is Lindsay going to come back with a baby next year?
That's what I mean.
She can't come back with a baby.
She can't bring a kid into the Summer House.
No, and you can't leave the kid.
Nobody wants to watch that.
No, and you can't leave the kid home because then you'll be branded the worst mother on the planet.
Exactly. Hopefully they put her on Real Housewives of New York. Let's see it. Let's put her on
you just
RHOA.
said that. You said you don't want her there.
I mean, I don't love Lindsay, but if Bravo needs somewhere to put her there. Put her on RHOA. Because I don't think anybody really wants to watch her on Summer House with a kid.
I would like to see her on RHOA.
Yeah, put her on RHOA.
I would like to see her on RHOA with Bryn.
It would be interesting. Because she and Erin are good friends, right?
I mean, they're friends. I don't know if they're good friends.
Yeah, I know. Who knows? They're Bravo friends.
Yeah. Not Erin. Bryn was talking. You know, she's got her own podcast now, Bryn.
Doesn't everybody?
I know. Everybody does.
Gia Giudice has one now.
I know. Erin and Abe have one.
Well, they do.
Yes. Erin and Abe have one. You're right. Everyone does have a podcast
Everyone has a podcast.
Yeah. But Bryn was on a podcast, or I read she did a magazine article or something, and she was saying that I guess she's in a better place with some of her castmates, and she didn't give any indication that she would not be coming back. Like, she was giving casting ideas of other people to join, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves a redemption season, so she had a pretty bad season.
She had a very bad season.
Even if you didn't think it early on, the way it ended,
it was bad.
So it would be interesting to see her come back and see how she navigates it.
Like I said, I think I would like to see her come back. I would like to see her reflect and come back better.
Right.
But I also would like to see Monica Garcia come back on Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I don't think you're the only one, though. I didn't really love Monica. I think she did everything for the show. I think she was putting on a show, especially the whole thing with her mom. Like, I didn't buy all that.
I didn't love her either, but she was interesting enough for me to give her another season and let her try and come back. Let her try and,
yeah,
spin it. I feel
you
they can
had Heather
do it.
on the show who wrote a book and put personal things about her castmates in her book.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that different than Monica putting stuff on an Instagram post, right?
Well, it's like,
Well, I guess because it wasn't true.
Well, and it's like having the fox in the hen house too. Like,
yeah,
you can't.
Yeah.
But that being said, she wasn't doing it while she was on the show. She wasn't posting while she was on the show. It happened prior to her being on the show, and she just didn't reveal it. Which I personally think what Heather did about lying about the black eye and all that bullshit was way worse. And there was no punishment for her.
Not at all.
Right? Different
Said
standards.
It once, I'll say it again. The brown girls get treated differently by Bravo. They really do.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Kenya's proof of that.
100%.
And so is Nene. I want Nene back.
Absolutely.
I want Nene back.
Absolutely.
Because you know who could put Porsha in line? Nene.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. I heard that Nene was doing there was something she was doing, and Porsha was supposed to be on it with her. And then the day that they were shooting, Porsha bailed out because supposedly she was afraid to be associated with Nene because she thought that she'd never get back to Bravo.
This was recent?
Pretty recent. Yep.
Because Nene did announce something, like a talk show or something, like not on mainstream TV, unfortunately, because I would watch it if it were.
She has one on YouTube. I watched her first episode. It was with Carlos King, and I'm not a Carlos King fan, but I did enjoy this episode because it was, listen, they know each other very well. They work together, and they have a good relationship. So it was good. I haven't looked again to see if there's another episode, but I would watch. I like Nene. I've always liked Nene.
Oh, yeah, I like Nene. I didn't like it when she started acting like the show. She was the show. I don't like it when any housewife does that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see Nene back. They have to bring Kenya back.
Yeah.
They have to bring Kenya back.
She'll be back. I believe Kenya will be back. I do. And then somebody asked Angela on Watch What Happens Live. Her husband used to date Sheree. Yes.
Charles.
Well, that was a long time ago. Angela wasn't with him then. And they asked if she ever runs into Sheree in Atlanta. And she's like, no, but my husband has dated a lot of women in Atlanta. So no, we're not going to talk about that. So she wouldn't talk about it. And the other person with her, what was his name? Will something. He also knows her. They've known each other for a long time. He's like, well, he says, Andy, why are we not talking about this? I want to talk about this. And Andy's like, no, I'm going to let, he goes, we'll bring it up at the reunion. Don't worry about it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Listen, he's a fine man, Charles Oakley.
Yeah. And I think that's it, unless you have anything else.
No, I think we've covered it all.
Okay. All right. Until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.